Let's get it! Like a late night. Let's fucking go, man. Let's fucking get it, yeah. It's your boy, Mr. Compound. We back at it again with another banger. You know the vibes. The energy is real high today. Listen, we back. We back. Let me sip my bev. We back. We back. Before we get into anything, I need y'all to like, comment, share, sub it up, turn on the post notifications, and the main thing in the description of this video and in the description of the page, join the Discord. We're trying to get more hands-on to the supporter base. Join the Discord Compound Crew. The link is in the description. Click that. Without further ado, let's get into it. Now the energy is high because why not? Why not? For this life I cannot change. In the hills, deep up in the puppet. I ain't even got my shit up because it don't even matter. It don't even matter. I'm geeked. I was tweaking. I was high as fuck, geeking. I know it's the other way around, but I don't care because it's not your stream, it's mine. I was trying to strike shit. I was trying to strike shit like a late night. All right.
911, what's the address to your emergency?
I need help. I'm on the lake.
I'm sorry, I can't understand you. What's the address?
I'm on the lake.
Yo, anybody that's a little, what are these people called? Teleprompters? Whatever. The people, if you do that job, I hate you. They be asking mad questions like, bro, there's an emergency. Ping my shit, because I know you can as soon as there's a certain amount of seconds to blah, 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 and pull up, because what are you doing? I need help. I need help. Help me.
But I don't know where. My husband he had a stroke and he fell over.
Are you out and about?
Yeah.
Is he awake?
No.
Okay.
Water.
He's in the water?
He's gone. I've been looking for him for hours.
The woman on the other end of this 911 call is 66-year-old Lori Eisenberg. A man overboard normally wouldn't get such an alarming response from dispatchers. However, it's winter in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, and the likelihood of the search and rescue for Lori's husband, Larry Eisenberg, is more likely now a search and recovery. Lori waited over 2 hours to call 911.
Are you out and about?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. He was driving the boat and he stood up fast and he said, the boat did something.
Yo, Lori, this is the worst excuse you could have made. Y'all is swimming. Y'all swimming and y'all boating in the winter? And what he said, Idaho?
Something's wrong with the motor. And so then he unzipped the cover thing and went to the front of the boat. He turned towards me to say something about the electric motor, and his face, and he fell over.
What misleading and little information officials would get from Lori would lead them to the bigger question. Was this really an accident like Lori stated, or something more insidious? On the surface, Lori and Larry Eisenberg were almost a picture-perfect couple. Though they had no children together, both Larry and Lori's children described their relationship as loving and blissful. In fact, detectives would later find out that one of their rare, frequent arguments was on the topic of Lori's excessive spending on her kids. Larry wasn't too keen on Lori paying all of their bills with his money. Larry owned a beautiful home with land in Cougar Gulch. They were close enough to the peaceful lake that they would often take their boat out on to look at the sunrise. In the early morning hours of February 13th, 2018, Lori and Larry set out on their occasional sunrise boat trip on the lake. Larry texted his daughter a photo of the sunrise that morning, and according to phone records, Larry also sent a friend a text that he was feeling too under the weather to fish that morning.
See any houses or big trees or landmarks?
So you already messed up right there by sending out two different type vibes. Because why did you even send the message to begin with?
In the water.
Okay. It's okay.
I didn't see.
About how far do you think it was away?
From what?
From where you got picked up by the fireboat? About how far from the shore do you think, maybe? That's okay.
She said he believes he might have had a medical episode that caused him to fall into the water.
Okay.
He said he didn't feel good and he was doing things weird, and then he went up to the motor and the motor wasn't broken, it was the other motor.
Okay.
And then I said, why are you doing that? And he turned to look at me and his face just looked,
Okay.
it looked awful, and then he just started to fall, and I tried to get the door open and get to him, and I couldn't grab him, and I fell.
Okay. Okay.
And then I didn't see him.
Well, like I said, we have the best people out there looking for him, okay? Very good divers, very good rescue team that's out looking for him, okay? But if you can think of anything, if while they're checking you out, if you can think of any landmarks or anything that you may have seen, and I know it's kind of hard to think about right now, but if you think of anything, please let us know, okay?
Where did you launch into the water? In Harrison or
Sunup.
Sunup Bay?
Sunup Bay?
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
And we've been driving around and I was just sleeping because
Okay.
I didn't sleep last night. I was just resting.
Okay.
I don't know how long.
Yep.
Okay.
But you think
Okay.
you guys headed for this side of the lake? You were aiming for this side rather than
I
the Sunup side?
remember
Oh, not yet.
I was sort of,
96.9 for temperature.
According to Lori, Larry had suffered a stroke when he walked to the front of the boat and fell overboard. Emergency responders located Lori on the lake and brought her back to shore for medical attention. Lori called 911 around 10:25 a.m., and deputies arrived at the location at around 11 a.m. Perplexingly, Lori waited almost 2 hours to call 911. So at this point, deputies attempt to get any information from Lori as to the last known location of where Larry fell into the water to get a search and rescue team in the air and on the water. The deputy picks up on Lori's distraught state. At this point, the deputy's main priority is to help locate Larry.
I think we will be very cautious with her. This goes at your pace, okay? Ready? There you go, good job. Okay, now we'll...
I'm 99% sure Todd's not going that way. Do you want to assist me getting the stuff off?
Yep.
What about the other gear, Charlotte?
Yeah, we'll get all that in just a second. Oh,
Is that the boat that
Do
they
you
were
want
on?
to take a picture of it? Because there's some other stuff about what she said about him if you want it.
okay.
I looked at him, he's good, but I got to get this paper to them.
Yeah, no problem. Let me get a picture.
Yeah, we don't have an exact location. So I think they're going to try to rendezvous their sonar.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it. Yep, should be able to see it.
Run sonar that way. Okay.
Just go ahead and set that straight down. That should sit just like that. Yeah. Okay, this will be fun.
Well, heavy bastard. I'll just. Yeah, and then going up and down the cliff.
Yeah.
Loading this back to your car. For now. You're not going out on this, right?
Get wet, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
What are they doing right now? Is that the boat that they rescued them on, or is that the boat that they were allegedly on? Why does it look like he's walking a plane? One false move. Bloop.
Lori isn't able to pinpoint exactly where Larry was last seen, so instead of divers getting in the water, rescuers opt to do a sonar search instead. While Lori is taken to the hospital, several other deputies retrieve Larry's boat to tow it in for evidence processing.
Hey, Justin,
On the
the
boat.
lens is pointed up. I don't know. Oh, yep, thank you.
I'd be scared as hell. If I had a boat, I'd be mad scared to go out there by myself. I'll tell you that. Because then what happens? I guess on a boat you got like a little thing to call out to the Coast Guard or something. I don't know, but that's how the scary movies be happening. Next thing you know, your propellers be on some dead. And you sitting there. Nothing's happening. And you start. And you might have a heart attack. Me personally, I'm speaking for myself. I don't know about anyone else. Mind you, I can swim, but it don't matter if you can swim in that ocean.
There's just a lot of splatter up here, so I'm sure we'll take this one.
But then I guess if you're on a boat like that, you gotta have some type of life vest. That gotta be like part of the rules. I don't know. I have no idea.
A search of the boat revealed Lori's purse with both of their wallets and an empty naked juice bottle in it. What struck detectives as odd was the fact that the boat's ignition key was bent. Either intentional or not, the lanyard with the kill switch that must be attached to the ignition for the boat to run was found on the deck. According to Lori's story, she thought that Larry had fallen in the water with his phone and didn't realize it was on the boat until after she found a blanket to keep warm. That was why she delayed in calling 911. Conveniently, she happened to drop the phone in the water after the call and had left her phone in their truck. A search of their truck at the dock didn't give many clues to the mystery, but they did find a bottle of allergy medication with the active ingredient of diphenhydramine, an ingredient commonly found in Benadryl. A normal dose for the average man causes slight drowsiness. This fact would come up again later in the investigation. The search area for Larry was far too vast for the team to effectively find Larry. An investigator visits Lori at the hospital to explain the next steps and try to see if she can give more clear answers on where Larry was.
But we can't search an area like that because of the depth. As divers, we can't go that deep for more than about 6 minutes at a time. And so we can't search a big area in 6 minutes. So we have a sonar team. And essentially what they have is we call it the fish. And it's a big long sonar that reads the bottom of the lake. And that's how we'll find Larry. And essentially what they're looking at is a 5-foot swatch of the ground. So if you imagine a 5-foot long swatch, they have to go back and forth a lot. And so it's a big area. So it can be a very time consuming thing. If you fall off a dock, and we know, okay, at the end of the dock, it's a little bit simpler. But because you're out and there's no way to reference, when you're in the middle of the lake, it's hard to reference if you think, okay, I was right across from that tree. If I go 100 feet this way, you're still right across from that tree, if that makes sense. So your search area gets a lot bigger. Essentially, every time we have a situation like this, we have to rule out any foul play. Of course, we're not accusing you of anything, but that's our job to make sure that that's not what's happening. So anytime we have these situations, it's just our standard protocol. So as soon as the detective can, because they'll get a subpoena for phone records, and as soon as they can show that your phone wasn't been used in that block period of time, then you can have it back, that type of thing.
Oh, yeah.
So that's all they're trying to make sure, because if you say, yeah, it was in the truck, and then we see that you used it at 7, 8, 9, 10.
She's 66. She don't know how that whole ping and the records, she don't know how that works. I could promise you she don't know how that works. Especially because I don't know exactly when this was. I kind of missed that in the beginning. I was too teed up. But if this was back in 2019 or something like that, 2018, 2020, she was 66 then. She don't know how that works.
Calling other people, that's
So
what
they
we're
got
doing.
your ass, Susie.
So that's what we're doing.
I think that's her name, Sue.
Same thing with the boat and the truck. The truck, I'm pretty sure we can release to you whenever you're ready to get it. The boat is really the only thing that we're concerned with right now. And I'll have you in touch with Sergeant Klinkvis, and he can keep you up to date as far as when you can grab those things, okay? Your purse, I was told that you can have that back, so that's why I got that for you. And I think that's everything that we have. We have the keys, that way if we need to move the truck, we can.
Okay.
Okay? Do you have any questions for me?
For now, investigators feel as if Lori is genuine and telling the truth. However, it had been more than 10 days since the search for Larry with no luck. Meanwhile, Lori's neighbors reported to police that she was acting strange and out of character. Apparently, she had her family help her move everything out of their house and wanted to sell all their belongings immediately. Even investigators picked up on her strange behavior while she was asked to participate in helping with the search. One moment she was smiling and laughing, and the next crying. However, she would just stop crying mid-conversation when it picked back up. Sensing that something wasn't right, Larry's children asked to speak to the investigators about their concerns regarding Lori.
Okay, so
Damn, that's all of them?
What's giving you those kind of concerns?
One, they were sick, and I don't know why they were out on the lake in the first place.
And she had mentioned that he had the flu.
Yeah.
Okay.
They were both sick. They were fixing to go south like they always do with the camper trailer, and would have been yesterday or something.
And when you say south, like how far south are
They
you
go
talking?
like Lake Tahoe and there.
Okay, so down south.
Yeah,
Okay.
They tool around, hit the coast, and drive up the coastline or down the coastline. Dad and I mean, we rearrange where the camper is, the boat is. I mean, the boat's done for when it gets put away, it's done for the winter. I don't know why it would have been taken out.
Does it normally sit behind?
The boat's in front in the summertime, and then in the wintertime, the boat goes in the back. So I don't know why they'd rearrange it to take the boat out in the winter. It's icier than shit. I mean, I'm just trying to park the camper today. That's why I'm soaking wet. It was just a mess and a disaster.
The camper.
Lori's always cold. I don't understand why they'd be out on the lake in the first place. I mean, this isn't when they'd be fishing or doing that. Coming over to help was how we're going to start divvying everything up, and it's just, and I'm gone. Like the peas, it doesn't feel right to me.
Okay. And that's important to know because
I mean, I wouldn't suspect, but like the whole damn thing just doesn't feel right. Maybe it's just my grief, because I've never dealt with grief, but it literally just doesn't feel right.
Larry's children are picking up on Lori's strange behavior, and it turns out to be worse than they thought. Lori was extremely convincing to detectives, but after a deeper dive into Lori's background, detectives begin to see behind Lori's fake persona. Apparently, Lori had cheated on her first husband with several men, one of which was Larry. A major fraud lawsuit was brought against her from where she...
Larry. Come on, my boy. She ran the play on you, gang. She ran the play on you and you fell for it. You was one of the dudes that was getting play when she had another man. And then you end up marrying her? Come on, man. You lose them how you get them. She was probably fucking somebody else. And now she knocked you off to spend the rest of your bread with the new nigga.
She had worked for years.
Damn,
the North
Larry.
Idaho Housing Coalition. An internal audit revealed that she had taken nearly $500,000. When asked why, she turned the blame on her daughters, stating that she did it for them, to pay their bills. A search warrant was served at Lori's home, and what investigators found was alarming. A Ziploc bag with white powder and latex gloves were found. During this time, Lori was actually arrested for the fraud charges, and her daughter posted her bail of $75,000. After more than 14 days, Larry was found on the shore of Lake Coeur d'Alene. He was fully clothed, and there didn't seem to be any signs of a struggle. During the autopsy, the coroner performed a toxicology report on Larry. The results confirmed investigators' suspicions. Larry had lethal amounts of diphenhydramine in his system. The naked juice bottle found in Lori's purse on the boat was also found to have the medication in the juice. Investigators theorized that this was how Larry had ingested the lethal dose. Larry had been under the weather when he died, so it would have been easy for Lori to slip the medication to him unnoticed. The coroner also confirmed that Larry had passed before he went into the water, as there were no signs of drowning or signs of a stroke. Lori seemed to be a loving wife and normal person, so investigators theorized the motive was her money troubles. Lori knew that her day was coming when she would be found.
Look at this bitch. Look at her. You are going to hell. And you gonna rot in hell first.
Found out for her fraud scheme. About a month before Larry's passing, Lori had made some handwritten changes to Larry's will, bequeathing 80% of his assets to her children and 20% to Larry's. It would also make her the sole benefactor of his estate, allowing her to pay her share to Larry's.
Yo. That's crazy. People really do crazy things for that money.
It would also make her the sole benefactor of his estate, allowing her to pay her debts owed. It was believed that Larry had no knowledge of her secret criminal activity and would have been extremely upset with her if he had found out. Lori had missed 2 court dates for her fraud case and was believed to be in hiding during this time because she knew the death investigation would also indict her on charges. A $500,000 bounty was placed on her, and a warrant was issued for her arrest. Lori turned herself in 2 months later, but investigators had to wait until her case was settled to speak with her about Larry's circumstances surrounding his passing. After 6 months, Lori was found guilty of wire fraud, as well as federal program theft, and sentenced to 5 years in prison. Investigators were able to now speak with Lori in the interrogation room about their findings.
So when we initially talked back at your residence, I believe that, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm just trying to go over the version that I have and ensure that it's correct. So, Mr. Romance.
When they do that, they already know what's up.
And you guys have been not feeling well for a while. And he came up with a romantic deal that, hey, why don't we go out on the lake and see the sunrise and then cruise up to Coeur d'Alene Lake Resort, or Coeur d'Alene Resort. Is that pretty much accurate so far? Okay. One of the areas that was a little confusing is the different areas of which you had mentioned that you found the phone. Detective Jackson, who was a diver, he was a dive rescue dude. You found it when you were looking for, or when you were getting a blanket to get warm. So Detective Jackson, I believe it was, you found it within a blanket with the medical personnel. You had mentioned you found it in a coat pocket. And then I believe with me, you found it on the dash. Which is the accurate one?
Everything I told you was accurate.
Okay. So with me, so it was on the dash. Okay. Okay. So going through everything and looking at everything, there are a lot of questions that come up, and obviously I'm sure that you've been able to see the affidavit that was published over the Spokane deal. And I don't know how much, it was released by the paper. So the end result is, quite frankly, did you kill Larry or didn't you kill Larry? And that's what we got to dial the facts in to support one way or another. Because in the end, our opinions don't matter at all. It's only what...
Whole time she already had Larry wrapped around her finger, so really she could have said, yo, I need help. I got into some trouble, whatever. I need X amount of money. She could have just said that. You already done got this sucker to marry you after you was cheating on him with your first husband, like, or you was cheating, you know what I mean. Y'all know what I mean.
What the facts reflect. Does that make sense? A lot of people think based on TV that we're the ones that put you in prison, and that's not reality. Reality is all we do is collect facts, present them to the prosecutor, same as Detective Bryant, or Gunnarsson, excuse me.
Then they send you to prison.
Refer on the deal there. So with that being said, is there anything that you can think about that in our initial conversation that after all this time would be different? Okay. So then we come to the part where Larry is autopsied and they do toxicology on it. And there is a large quantity of diphenhydramine, aka Benadryl, aka, but really wouldn't be a cough medicine. It's pretty much a Benadryl situation. And we're trying to figure out what happened. Any ideas? Yeah. Lori, there's a lot of things within your phone records, there's a lot of things within your Facebook records that would lead one to believe that it's something other than what it is. And Lori, can I ask you a question? Going on your computer searches, when you went to Florida, you've got searches about depth charts, whether you can boat on Bayview at night. There's a lot of stuff there. Can you explain that?
I think if you're going to start asking me questions like that, I should have my attorney here.
Good. And that's what we're going to be doing, because that's what we need to conclude the case. So do you have a retained attorney right now? By all means, that's 100% with me acceptable, because I think it's, at this point, if you...
Because I don't, you say things, I don't even know what you're talking about. I don't know. Of things that have come up, I don't know where people are coming up with these things.
Lori refused to admit any of her participation in the passing of her husband, even though all of the evidence was stacked against her. She allowed the case to go to trial and was found guilty. She was sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 30 years. Larry was extremely
And you're already
loved by all
66, you're cooked!
those who knew him. He had no idea that the person he loved would scheme in such a terrible way just to get his money.
Damn. Larry, RP Larry, man. This is why you got to make sure, if you gonna get married, that you don't marry somebody like Larry. You dig what I'm saying? Nah, she's 66. She's packed up for at least 30. Average lifespan, 79. You're done, lady. But we're going to get up out of here. Appreciate y'all. If you still here, I love you. You know what I'm saying? If you still here, I love you. Thank you for rocking with us. We're going to get back active. Let's get it. Everybody have a blessed and amazing day.